great crowd we have here tonight. Family, friends, community members, Holliston High School staff, and inductees, good evening and welcome to the first annual induction of the Holliston High School Athletic Hall of Fame. My name is Jamie Murphy, and it is my pleasure to celebrate this accomplished first class with all of you. Athletes, coaches, and teams being inducted this evening exhibit athletic excellence at its highest form at the high school level. We are happy to recognize the success of this first class and are honored to celebrate their induction. Before we begin this evening, we'd like to take the time to thank the following people and groups for their support. Superintendent Dr. Susan Kuska and the Holliston School Committee, Principal Nicole Bottomley and the high school administration, and Holliston High School's Athletic Director, Matt Baker. Thank you. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, HABA, Holliston Football, Holliston Lions Club, and Middlesex Savings Bank for their support as well. And finally, we'd like to recognize the selection committee for the time and effort they have committed to making this event possible. Patrice Bouzan, Carol Kosicki, Jim Lamusso, Don Quinley, John Shanahan, and Alex Strum. Thank you. At this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Jack Harper, tonight's MC, to begin the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie, very much. Thank you all. Every summer, as some of you may know, over on the football field, usually the hottest week of the year, there is an event called Holliston Panther Academy. I think that's coming from the other mic. Todd Kiley and his wonderful coaches from the high school football program get all the younger kids around town who want to take part, and they teach them football. They use not only the coaches, they also use the players, the members of the Panther team, the seniors, the captains, and some of the others. This year, about 2 weeks after the program, I ran into a friend of mine whose kid had been in there, and I knew he'd been in there, and I said, how'd it go? What'd your guy think? He said, it was great. Greatest thing I ever did. And he said, you know what? You know what, Dad? The real Panthers were there. And doesn't that capture the moment? Doesn't that illustrate what we're dealing with? Those little kids see the big kids, and they are the real deal. And the message goes from them, as it always has for generations, and it always seems to go well with Holliston athletics. There's a thread, there's a fabric. It goes from kid to kid, year to year, decade to decade, and we see here tonight, it goes from generation to generation. It's not always about just winning, it's about excellence and effort. Holliston has a reputation for doing the best with what they have. Not the biggest kids, we all hear it every year, they're not the biggest, but often they're the best. The message continues to go on, and the people that we honor here tonight and induct into the hall helped lay the groundwork, the bedrock, the foundation. Coach Cato and everyone else, by the way you played and the way you coached, the others followed. Your classmates, your teammates, and everyone else in town got the message. It's still prevalent today. And as a parent of 3 kids in the high school, I'd like to thank each of you for the efforts you made to help make it what it is today. We begin with 2 coaches who are stories in their own right. First is Coach Cato. Did a little research. Though I had heard the stories before, Tom Cato in many ways could be considered the father of Holliston football. He came here from Central Rhode Island, the state champion team in 1966. By 1971, he had a championship team here. Surprise, surprise. They went 9-0. Not only did they go 9-0, If you look through Mr. Dunn's book on Holliston Panther football, the first 4 games, it's kind of a massacre, Coach. I don't know if it was fair. 46-6, 46-6, 60-14, and 62-14. Now, I thought about that, and I looked up. In each of those 60-point games, you had 8 touchdowns. What happened on the 2-point conversion? You messed it up. Legend has you made them run after that game, didn't you? Not really. Inducting you into the Hall of Fame has waited too long. You are what it's all about. Not only was Coach Cato a coach here who had a 56-16 record at Holliston High, at Chelmsford High, he went on there and won 140 games. He's already in the Hall there. He's in the Hall for Massachusetts and Rhode Island state football coaches as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cato. We're proud to induct him into the Holliston High Football Hall of Fame.
I'm getting old. First, I'd like to thank the Holliston Hall of Fame for this great honor. My family still speaks of the time we were here. My 2 oldest boys, Paul and John, I asked them one day, I said, I've been in a lot of places. Where do you like it the best? Positively, Holliston. Me too. That was my favorite job. My wife Peggy, who drove me nuts sometimes, but she raised my 7 kids when we went to Chelmsford, and she would cook spaghetti and meatballs for the victories we had, and kids would come with their cars, blow the horns. I'll never forget that until the day I die. And we had a great time. Plus, she was married to me, and I was never home. You know, I'm always doing something with game plans or something like that. Just like Coach Colley, where you got to work hard. I coached in Holliston for 8 years, the happiest years of my life. My 1971 and 72 teams were undefeated. My 75 team went to the Super Bowl. My 1971 team was state champs. How we lost the state championship in 72, I'll never figure that out. I was just talking to Steve Curley, one of my assistants. We beat the Class B team champs 28-6, and we still didn't come in first place. I don't know. When I die, I'll find out. As a coach, you're only good as the people you surround yourself with. Paul Rose was one of my best friends. I played college ball with him. Actually, I took him here with me because I didn't want to be no AD. I just wanted to coach football. He was the AD and my defensive coordinator. Jimmy Riley, I don't know where Jimmy is. I think he's down at Cape, Steve, right? He's down at Cape. Dave Stone, he passed away too, was a good guy. Billy Kerboy, holy cow, they all passed away. Billy Kerboy died. Bobby Bradford, Steve Curley, who's right here, is one of my best friends. And then there was Jay Polly and Jim Turner, who coached freshmen. I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for my good friend John Peterkuski. He's my idol. He was the assistant head coach of BC. His 2 boys played for me, Gary and Jerry, and John coached for me at Chelmsford. Gary started at Penn State as a freshman. We had another boy too, Ronnie LaPointe played at Penn State too. We had a lot of good kids. Good kids make good coaches. I just rode the ride with them. He taught me not only how to be a good coach on the field, but how to motivate the kids. And the kids knew if I said weightlifting was at a certain time, I'd be there no time, every time. They knew I would never miss, so they better not miss. I'll get their butts, call the house. Second time, I threw them off the team. That's the way it was. But the kids never missed anyway. They were good kids. Now, the Peter Cussy family, I've been friends with for 50 years. And I'm sorry to say, John, I think 3 or 4 years ago, died, and his wife, Dorothy, she was very, very close to me for 50 years. Now, there's one other kid that made a big impact on me. Actually, it was my manager, Warren Kingsley. How many people remember the Kingsley Manor? His father, he ran the Kingsley Manor. You know how smart he was? Warren was smarter. So one day, I'm in gym class, and Warren said, "I can't do this, coach." I said, "Get off the mat. Come and mark. I'll give you the grades. You mark them down." I said, "But you have to be my manager." I took him. He would break down films with me over my house. So did Jack McNell, Peter Carmichael, and John Peter Cussy. They didn't want to go to be a Boston, so they'd break down films, where I learned a lot from them, breaking down college films. But Warren, all his life he wanted to be a football coach, but he happened to be a lawyer, one of the top lawyers in Atlanta. He's probably a millionaire. He gave up his job for no reason and then became a football coach. He's crazy, but he did it. The two guys I'd like to thank, first, Kenny Dunn. He did a great job. You know, a lot of great things were said about my teams. Coach Carley's, Coach Rose was in the Super Bowl, Coach Bradford was in the Super Bowl, and Coach Riley was in the Super Bowl, and they all coached for me. So I get great pleasure in saying that. But Coach Dunn did a super job. If you haven't got his book, buy it. It's really good. It's really, really good. I know, Ken, give me the 20 after I leave. No, the other person I'd like to thank, who's continuing that great success at Holliston, is Coach Kiley. He's doing a great, great job, super job. I'll give him a hand. Every time I see the scores on Sundays, the first thing I pray for is Holliston. I won't be able to stay that long. I'm a sick puppy. But I wanted to thank you people for inviting me, and I had the time of my life.
Thank you very much, Coach. We were very concerned about those 60-point games before you go, and I did check. Believe this, get a load of this. In the fourth quarter of those two games, they didn't put any points up. They stopped the offense. So it's 60 points and 62 points at the end of the third. What a team. Our next coach, Deb Gunther. Already met her. Softball coach for 29 years, field hockey coach for 23. What, did you slough off for 6 years? You couldn't do both? Her softball teams won 474 games, 9 years unbeaten, 17 league titles. The field hockey team, not far behind, 273 wins, 58 losses, 49 ties, 8 Tri-Valley League titles, 1997 state champs. She's already in the Massachusetts State Coaches Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to induct Deb Gunther into the Holliston Hall of Fame.
Yes, we are getting old, the glasses. Mr. Cato, thank you very much. In your speech, you mentioned how Holliston was your favorite place to be. Let me echo that. When I first arrived in Holliston, I remember hearing the name of Tom Cato. And everyone loved him, loved how he coached, and he became a role model for me. Yeah, we wouldn't go in if it was raining out because the football team wouldn't. Had some of those Cato stories going on. Again, congratulations, Coach Cato. I'd like to start by congratulating my fellow inductees. It's an honor to be part of this illustrious class. Thank you to the committee for nominating me and voting to induct me. To be honored tonight for my life's work as a coach is overwhelming, but it's also a blessing. All of your thoughts, your letters, your kindness for all of these years has me saying, no matter what else I ever did, coaching was the only way I wanted to go. You see, I always thought coaching was something that God had given to me to go and help other people. I coached for a purpose that was bigger than the games themselves. I remember the day I got the call. I was at the gym, what's new? I never answered my phone there, name and number unknown, but something was telling me to answer it. Well, the emotion I felt was off the charts when Alex Strum said those magic words. And upon hanging up with a huge smile on my face, tears of joy began rolling down my face. It was that same emotion I experienced on big game day. Only this time, there were no more games. It was going to be a permanent high. The people at the gym came towards me and asked if I was all right. It was then that all the memories came rushing back into my head. When I was a student teacher at Holliston High back in 77, 78, I remember Paul Rolls, the athletic director, coming up to me at the lunch table and asked if I would be interested in being their basketball cheerleading coach. You forgot that one year I coached cheerleading. I told him I really had no experience in that area, but he said it was a veteran squad with great kids. I knew I had to give it my all, because when I walked the halls of Holliston, the pride exhibited by the athletes was amazing, especially when they wore their game day uniforms. At that time, Holliston had won the Dalton Award, given by the Boston Globe for being the winningest public school in the entire state. My student teaching was coming to an end, but the basketball team kept winning in tournament and had a date with the Boston Garden, I believe with the Caligaris brothers at the helm. I remained coaching because this is when I realized Holliston athletes had no quit in them and played hard, especially in moments like these. And you could feel the pride of the Holliston community as well. I was hooked on the red, black, and white. Coaching has taken me on an incredible journey. And tonight, I want to thank those who helped to make it possible. You see, coaching is a team game. The players, the managers, the scorers, the parents, especially those that videotaped the games and held team dinners, the athletic directors, fellow coaches and colleagues, the booster clubs, the athletic trainers, the community, and your own parents and support system. All that support enabled our programs to reach the pinnacle of success that they had. Thank you for your friendship and support. Coaching was my passion, and I loved teaching and mentoring our players and working beside volunteer coaches who care. They're also wonderful people. Thank you for your loyalty. To my former players, simply put, you are the reason I am standing here today. My greatest honor was to be called your coach. You excelled on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. I was always proud of you and continue to be proud of the strong, confident woman you have become. You have given me the most treasured memories I could ever have wished for. I share this incredible honor with all of you. To my family, your unwavering love and support have meant the world to me. I love all of you very much. This night would be perfect if my mom and dad, Eleanor and Dave, no longer with us, were here to celebrate. Suck it up, Deb. They were our most steadfast fans, and Mom certainly cheered the loudest. They followed every team I played on and coached. They are the ones who enabled me to pursue my dreams. My presence here tonight is a testament to their love. You know, in life, we learn something from everyone. There are a lot of people that we meet as we take our walk. But the things that mean the most are the friendships that you make and take along with you. I am honored and forever grateful for coaching at Holliston. The athletes and community committed themselves to excellence. They enriched my life and reminded me that there is so much more to living than just sports, and that you have made a difference because you have lived. This is what dreams are made of. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. We're honoring and inducting 6 individual athletes tonight as well. Diane Potter, the class of 1953, played basketball and softball at Holliston High, then went on to Springfield College. She came back to Holliston High and started the phys ed program. Then later went back to Springfield College to teach and started the women's softball program, coaching there for 21 years. Her teams had 4 unbeaten seasons. This for her is, well, it's not old hat, I'm sure, as you're going to hear. It's a big deal, but it's her 5th Hall of Fame. It's in the Hall of Fame about everywhere. And Potter Field, out at Springfield College, that's the name of the field, Potter Field, the softball complex. And tonight, Diane Campersall is going to speak. I'm sorry? Dorothy. I should have said Ms. Campersall. I would have been all set. Please come up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Glasses. So Coach Porter came and took us over and gave us a nice new gym and lots of training. And she writes, I am deeply honored to have been selected as an inaugural member of the Holliston High School Athletic Hall of Fame. A heartfelt thank you to the selection committee and to whoever nominated me. My sincere congratulations to the other members of this inaugural group, with a special shout out to Miss Debbie Gunther, one of my favorite former student athletes and a 4-year member of the Springfield College softball team. My opportunity to play sports and my love of the game, softball, started here in Holliston thanks to Mrs. Helen Morse. Over 2 decades before Title IX, the girls of Holliston High School had equal opportunity with the boys to participate in athletics. She was my first coach and ultimately the most important, as she instilled in me an early age my love of the game and the desire to continually improve my skills, knowledge, and ability wherever the task. Upon graduating from HHS in 1953, my love of sports influenced my decision to attend Springfield College and become a physical education teacher coach. As luck would have it, in 1957, when I graduated, a brand new junior-senior high school opened in Holliston. I was hired to teach physical education program and coach. After 3 years, I was invited back to Springfield College to teach in the women's physical education program. I remained at the college for over 40 years. I played basketball, but the sport of softball has been the sport that has profoundly influenced my life. As a member of the Constituent Corvettes, I got to travel up and down the East Coast, Portland, Oregon, Florida, Toronto, Canada. Ralph Raymond was my coach then, and I continued to grow as a player. He later went on to become the USA softball coach, winning gold at the Olympics. In 1970, I was invited to the Netherlands Baseball Softball Association to spend 2.5 months in the Netherlands traveling the country giving softball clinics. During that summer, I also went to Italy for 10 days, gave softball clinics from Milan to Rome. I was asked to bring my Springfield College softball team back to the Netherlands the next year, and that was the beginning of an association with the people of Holland and the Dutch softball that remains today. At Springfield College, I took my team on 3 different occasions to the Netherlands to compete against the Dutch national team. I conducted many clinics. Thus, softball has been an integral part of my life and professional career. So thank you, Coach Helen. I hope you were looking down and thinking, I remember that kid when. The end. Thank you. Good. I will make sure that she receives this.
Thank you. If you live in Holliston, drive through Holliston, you know the name Bullard. There's a farm, there's a street, and there's been a lot of Henry Bullards. One of them, probably more than one, but this one, I think it's Henry III, am I correct? Was quite a player. He was Holliston's first 1,000-yard runner in 1960. In 1959, in the win over Medway, he rushed for 224 yards. That's in the one game. Had quite a career. And by the way, in the year that he rushed for 1,000, that wasn't their best year. They didn't have a great season that season. It was the next one that was even better. Mr. Bullard, we are very honored to induct you into the Holliston Hall of Fame.
I'd like to thank the committee for nominating me and having me here. It's been a pleasure. And I'd also like to talk about my year when I showed up freshman year, and it was 1957. This was the year that we just started football, and Angelo Insulaco was our coach. Well, the first day, he brought us into the back of the gym, and he handed out the uniforms. We had pants and shirts and everything, and a whole bunch of pads. The only problem was we didn't know where to put the pads. So you can imagine how he felt. Oh, I got to start with this group. But we didn't have any youth football. We had no experience. So he brought that team up and taught us everything we knew, how to tackle, how to run, how to jump, and how to, knock people down and so on. He taught us to be polite, not to fight, so on. And the first year, we had 2 scrimmages, and we had 2 games. And we lost everything. But we learned something. The second year, 1958, we won a few games. We probably won more games than we lost. And by the third year, we'd won a championship. And I'll tell you, that was quite an honor, and it's always been a pride, and I'll always got to give credit to the guys I played with. I honor them by doing this, because they're the ones that made it possible. And Coach Insulaco brought football to Holliston High School. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Going now to the class of '73, Gary Peterkuski. Father John was 74, was a legendary coach. His son, great football player, had a spectacular career. Gary was excuse me, and his brother was also one of the stars. He was a 4-sport athlete. Started in football, baseball, basketball, and did 1 year of track. And most of all, if anything says it all about this guy, the first freshman to start at Penn State, a freshman, defensive back. Started for Joe Paterno, played in 4 bowl games. Honorable mention All-American. Gary Peterkuski, we are honored to have you inducted into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
I have to hold that mic.
Yes, unfortunately.
This doesn't work. It doesn't work.
That's for the TV, I believe.
Thank you very much. It's very humbling for me to be up here. I left Holliston High School in '74, and my dad was coaching at Boston College, and I never came back specifically to Holliston, but I've lived in Centerville on Cape Cod since 1994. but it's certainly a humbling honor to be recognized with all these accomplished athletes here tonight. And it's like a journey, not a destination. Just things happen along the way, and all of a sudden, things of this nature, inductions, you're blessed enough to be part of. I would like to thank the committee, selection committee, and all of the fellow inductees. There'll be many more to come in the future. I'd like to thank the coaches that have a great influence, had a great influence on my life. Coach Cato in football, Coach Krupnick, who unfortunately can't be with us tonight, he has passed away, Coach Ryan in track, and Coach Tom Keogh in basketball. Coach Curley, I believe, is also here, was an assistant coach. I didn't forget about you, Coach Curls. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my family, who is an integral part. I happen to be the youngest of 3 brothers. My dad was a World War II Marine, fought the Battle of Okinawa in Japan, against Japan, I should say. And you learn a lot when you're the youngest and you're growing up, getting beat up a little bit. My older brother always picked me on the team. My middle brother, he didn't want much to do with me. But I learned a lot from them, learned a lot from the mistakes. You can imagine 3 boys 2 years apart, World War II Marine as your father, a coach, very successful coach, and the discipline. You didn't want to come home, you didn't want a teacher calling. My dad. So I say that because I owe a lot to my brothers and my family, and the cornerstone that made all that happen is my mom, the wife of a coach. She had a sign on her refrigerator for 50-some years. We interrupt this marriage to bring you the football season. And I never really understood that when I was growing up, but I understand it a lot now. She has passed away recently in December, but she was the heart and soul of our family, serving meals at different times. We're all playing basketball, football, and baseball. We're Pennsylvania kids. We moved to Holliston. She's running a restaurant there. Jerry's got practice at one time. I got practice at one time. JV, varsity, this, that. So I would be remiss in not honoring my mother, and as Coach Gunther said, I believe previously, I wish they were both here for this honor that has been bestowed on me by the town of Holliston. So thank you very much for that. I think I have some teammates that I saw, Cecil Wright, Buddy Frost, Gary Alger. Is there anyone else I'm forgetting? Because Dean, I got Gary, I got Buddy, and who we got here? Would you guys all stand up? Because well, we're coming up later. I understand. But my dad would be very upset with me because he always said, it ain't about you, Gary. It's about the team. It's about the team. You get a group of guys together with a common goal and a common mission. More can be accomplished than any one individual would ever imagine. So thank you all you guys that I played with through the years. My brother, Jerry, being a senior when I was a freshman. I also like to acknowledge John Moran and his wife Paula, who came here specifically from Natick. They're from enemy territory. Didn't we beat you, John, when my son was the quarterback at Barnstable? I think we did. And then I have my godson, Mark, my goddaughter, Julie. Mark is a Holliston graduate, went on to play at UNH. And I think I've covered everything except Steve and Sue. Stevie Gallagher, one of my best buddies in high school, one tough son of a gun. Never wanted to run the football off tackle against Stevie, but sorry for all the stories, but for me, it's always a team. I feel like some prima donna that's standing up here accepting an award for what was accomplished by a lot of guys that contributed to everything. And check my notes. I forgot my cheaters. I would also like to acknowledge my brothers. John, Jerry, stand up, please, say hello. And you can sit down, John. And lastly, I met a girl at Penn State who happened to be from Pittsburgh Panther fan and a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. I can attest to you that she has become a Boston Patriots fan and a Penn State fan. So Joanne, would you stand up, acknowledge, please? And I have a daughter who married a football coach and from University of Maryland that he played at, and she moved to enemy territory as well. She moved to Hopkinton, which was way too close to the border for all of us here at Holliston. But my daughter Elisa and her husband Tommy, and stand up please. And my son Matthew, and I should say my wife is the love of my life, and my son Matthew, who is upon 2-3 months away from graduating from RPI. He was a record-setting quarterback down in Barnstable in Massachusetts. I'm very proud of him for his accomplishments and wish you the best, Maddie, going forward, and his girlfriend, Kate. And I'm sorry to bore you with that, but to me, any accomplishments that you have, it's a group effort. And the foundation that I had with my family, my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my brothers, is why I'm up here. And somebody that was up here previously dropped a beautiful bracelet. There's a lot of diamonds on here. So thank you. God bless.
I also married a girl from Pittsburgh, but she still likes the Steelers. Win some, you lose some. Class of '87. Big Mark Sweeney led Holliston to state championships in baseball and football. Played baseball at the University of Maine when the Black Bears were the real deal. They were tough. 1993, North Atlantic Conference Player of the Year. 14 years in the big show, the MLB, with 7 different teams. He was a whiz as a switch hitter. Second all-time, as a pinch hitter. Second all-time with 175 pinch hits, and still first in pinch hit RBIs, 102. They put him up there with somebody on second or third, and he got him home. Mark currently serves as baseball analyst for Fox Sports San Diego. It must be important if he came from San Diego here tonight with this weather. It is a real pleasure to announce the induction of Mark Sweeney to the Holliston Hall of Fame. Yeah. Come on up, Mark.
Good evening. Hopefully this mic works. I'm going to talk loud because that's what my mom and dad gave me, among other things. First off, thank you very much. This is very humbling. to be around the athletes in the room, Holliston High School graduates, scholar athletes who share in this rich history as we've all talked about. I'd like to thank the selection committee for this incredible honor and to congratulate all other athletes and teams in the inaugural Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all of you. Growing older, you appreciate the building blocks of the foundation for what leads you to individual success, but more importantly, as Gary talked about, the best version of yourself along with your peers to achieve team success. That's what it's all about. Looking back on my 4 years at Holliston High School, I was blessed to achieve a Super Bowl victory my junior year and also a state baseball championship my senior year to cap it all off. My dad did tell me something before I started, to fold the corner. That's one of those things that you want to do. Dad, I'm sorry I didn't do it. My childhood was the foundation of those championships, and there were people in my life that I'd like to acknowledge. Why? They represent the lifelong friendships. David Paquette, who lived across the street. It was a 2-on-1 basketball games against my older brother, who's 3 years older. There were battles in front. We were 2-on-1. We couldn't beat him. But David Paquette was one of my closest friends to this day. Steve and Todd Kiley, those football games in front of Highland Street on your front lawn. Tackle football. That's where it started, right? Todd running down, Steve tackling him, and I'm piling on. The sleepovers at the Bearers' house, Matt, Peter Northgraves, and the rest of the group. That's what it's about, being a child and being a teammate. We learned a lot on those nights. Swimming and playing wiffle ball games at the outdoor YMCA in Hopkinton. The summer landscaping job with Rich Cordani that we absolutely hated before we went to Milford Legion baseball games. That's where I learned who Rich Cordani really was. And all of these things came to what really represented your career in high school. It's your teammates. Gary mentioned it. It's all about your teammates and what you can create. And some of them are here tonight. Thank you, fellas, for showing up. These friends have created a band of brothers that cultivated these championship memories and, more importantly, formed friendships that will last a lifetime. Right, Steve? A lifetime. Thank you to all my former teammates who are etched in my memories forever. To my coaches and mentors, I want to first start with Coach Bradford, the football coach, the varsity football coach that believed in me as a sophomore and gave me an opportunity to unseat my oldest brother of 3 years as a starting quarterback. That was not fun. But I appreciate him taking a shot at me. And Brian, thank you for stepping away, because my first touchdown pass was to Brian Sweeney. So that really felt a lot better. And to the late Coach K, he's already been mentioned. Our legendary varsity baseball coach, Coach Krupnick, was known as the hitting guru. But he was much more than that. To the 1987 state champs, he taught us the passion for the game, and I will never forget the joy on Coach's face when we won the championship. That 12-11 10th inning victory over heavily favored Stoneham High School team that had star players like Joey Vitiello, who went to University of Alabama, and Andrew Hartung, who was my teammate, University of Maine, and bragging rights that I had because that victory. Also, Michael Day's home run. Anyone that was at that field, it was magical. And his run around the bases is etched in my memory. And I can't forget the final game against North Middlesex. 9-5 state championship victory, and we got to celebrate as a group. Nothing better. Thank you, Coach K. Thank you for developing the passion for this great game of baseball that I abide to this day. We all miss you so much and are grateful for everything you did for all of us. Family. That takes me to my best coaches of all, my parents, my 3 older brothers. As Gary mentioned, it's easy to be the youngest. You get to just walk the paved way that my oldest brother, Greg, that's here, it was so much easier. My dad coached me and my 3 brothers all through Little League, youth basketball, and was a huge supporter. He always had the right thing to say. I worship all those times in the car, Dad. It's going to be tough. My mom, and is still our rock. You are a rock, Mom. Get it together, right? Coach Gunther, get it together. Suck it up. I tell you what, growing up as the youngest of 4 boys definitely had its perks, and a mom-son relationship was paramount for my growth. Mom and Dad, every memory, every moment was always more important because you were there. To my brothers, Greg, who's here tonight, thank you, Greg. My brother Brad and Brian. Brian was the one that took his spot. That's the reason why he's not here. My path was easier because each one of you led the way and set an example to how to conduct myself on and off the playing fields. I wanted to make you proud, and today, with this honor, I hope it was. Get it together. My 11-year-old son, Gavin, come on up. This is my buddy. I already apologized. I know he looks like me. I apologize. He doesn't look like his mom. As we all know, life's journey after high school takes us down different paths. For me, my life's been a dream come true. From college at the University of Maine to 14 years in the big leagues, nothing can help that more than finding love and support. To the woman who makes all of this tonight more magical than it already is, Cindy, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for being the love of my life, my best friend, and being here in this magical occasion, but also being an unbelievable mom to our kids. Thank you. To our daughters, Jaden and Kendall, they are stars in beach volleyball, and I can say that because, man, am I proud of them. They're not here tonight because they're playing beach volleyball. And our youngest got to play her first college game today in South Carolina, and I'm so proud of her. She ended up winning today, so thank you. And for not being here, it's okay. We know how important sports are in our life. And to my 11-year-old son, Gavin, who's right next to me, life's complete because of you, buddy. And now you understand. Now's your journey. So I'm excited for what's next for you. For that moment, I was a bat boy for my dad's Little League team in the Holliston Parade, to opening day in the big leagues, to this incredible moment for me, for all of you to celebrate this inaugural class in Hall of Fame for Holliston High. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for making me feel like a kid, just like you, buddy, and beaming with pride. Thank you, Holliston High. Thank you, everyone that inducted all of us in tonight, and congratulations to all the inductees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. It's our pleasure to induct Liz Walker into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Going to have her father, John, come up and accept the award in one moment. First, to just tell you a little bit about Ms. Walker. She was a legend, a Holliston star in 3 sports, basketball, field hockey, and softball. Went on to Boston College and starred in both field hockey and softball, and then began to focus more on softball. In fact, she had a lifetime .381 batting average. In 1995, she was a 16-game winner with an ERA of 1.32. Pretty impressive numbers at Boston College. In 2021, Liz McLeod also, lost her long battle with pancreatic cancer. She was only 47. But she's with us in spirit tonight, and so is her father, John. John?
Thank you all very much. I'm sure if Liz was here with us tonight, she'd be having a great time. The involvement and the commitment that she had to sports in the Holliston school system was really just the best way for her to have fun. As a matter of fact, I'd need a lot more fingers to count the number of times she said, "Dad, we're just having fun." Liz had a chance to start playing as a freshman in Holliston High School. She also came upon a great coach in Debbie Gunther, who picked her up, put her in a spot, and she became part of the great success that Holliston had for the next few years. In Liz's second, third, and fourth year in Holliston, the high school softball team didn't lose a game. They got to the state tournament, and there's always one of those teams down in the southeast part of Massachusetts that ended the story. But again, with 60 wins in 3 years, that was a pretty good time. She went also to to play basketball for Rita Atkinson. She was very involved in field hockey as well. And when it came time to go to college, she fell back on all the training she had gotten in Holliston and was able to step onto the field at Boston College and move right in. She had a great opportunity to play 2 sports, which is rare at the Division I level. And after her sophomore year, she was going to be the top pitcher on the softball team. So she gave up field hockey in order to just focus on the softball. She won 42 games at Boston College, and as was mentioned earlier, she hit .381. And for a pitcher to hit .381 is rather unique. Today, with us, I have Liz's family. Her husband, Ross, her daughter, Shannon, her son, Connor. Would you all please stand up? And I have a real surprise for you. Shannon's a pitcher in softball at Notre Dame Academy in Hingham, and she's also the captain of the field hockey team. And Connor, he's been playing hockey for a number of years, and he plays for the Boston Junior, what is it, Connor? Boston Junior Terriers. They're from that school down the street in from Chestnut Hill. And he has also just gone into BC High, where he plays football. So again, they're following after their mother. And Ross, for many years, served us with the U.S. Air Force as an A-10 pilot and is now a captain with Southwest Air. And he has a great deal of responsibility, but a great deal of pleasure watching the kids get involved and grow into their sports. Again, I would be remiss, terribly remiss, to not introduce the person who stirs the pot, the person who kept us all going in the right direction. Betsy, my wife Betsy, who probably has we were talking about it the other day, and I think we figured out that we were probably at somewhere between 150 to 175 games over the 4 years at Holliston High School. So, needless to say, it's been fun. We got a lot out of it, and we deeply appreciate the committee for honoring Liz. I know if she were here, she'd have a big smile on her face. So again, thank you all, and thank you for remembering our daughter. Thank you.
I'll bring this over to your table. Dr. Walker? Do you want me to take
Get
this?
very far without this.
No, do
That's
you want me to
okay.
take this to the table?
That's right.
Thank you, John, very much. Lastly, it is a pleasure is hardly enough of a word in this case to induct our final individual athlete, Kara Walters. Kara had already said, as you may have read one of the stories, I believe it was Middlesex News, she was very excited about being here, but in her current role as an analyst on the UConn women's basketball, that wouldn't be possible because they played at 4 o'clock. So that's the only reason she's not here, I'm sure. I'm sure she's disappointed about that, but she had to work, as they say. She holds every record at Holliston High for basketball, the girls, in scoring, blocks, rebounds, still to this day. From here, for those of us who didn't live in Holliston at that time, never really heard much about her, but when she got to UConn, we all heard about her. Because UConn was the beginning, when she got there, around that time, those years, that was a real legitimate sports dynasty, as everyone who knows anything about basketball knows. If they lost, that was front page news, and it didn't happen very often. She had a tremendous career there, and she's one of those people who has won everywhere. Won at Holliston, won at UConn, the national title, won in the Olympics, gold medal, and also won in the WNBA, a league championship. Kara could not be here tonight, as I said. She has made a video, though, and I believe we're ready with it.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Rita, so much for filling in for me. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there tonight. It is March Madness, my time of year to work, but I did want to send along a message thanking everybody so much for making me part of the inaugural class of the Holliston Athletic Hall of Fame. I appreciate that so much, and congratulations to all the fellow recipients. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. High school wasn't my favorite time in my life. However, basketball, Rita, and my teammates were the thing that kept me going through those years. I thank you to all my teammates. Obviously, I wouldn't be accepting this award without them. And thank you for Rita. I love you so much. a lot has changed since high school. I went on to play at UConn, played in the WNBA, and then played in the Olympics in 2000. And what a lot of people don't know is that Coach Atkinson came with me to Australia to celebrate the Olympics, and for that I will always be grateful. I love you, all my teammates. I wish I could have seen you, whoever's there, some old faces, some old friends. Sorry I couldn't be there, but I hope to get home soon and see everybody. Thank you so much, and again, congratulations to all the recipients, and thank you.
Now the question for the group is, who's Rita? Because I messed that up. Rita was supposed to come up before the tape. I apologize. Rita Atkinson, come on up, please. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Actually, Carrie just asked me to say a few words. She wanted to thank the committee for being inducted tonight. She also wanted to thank her teammates. Like she said in the video, they kept her going through some tough times when being 6'7" in high school wasn't always easy. So sometimes she got poked a little bit too much in high school, and as you can tell, that's why she didn't like high school so much. But she used that to motivate her to become what she has become. She's a mother of two, Sydney and Delaney, and has a husband, Sean. She also wanted me to make sure that I said something about her parents, who were so proud of her. When I was in Sydney, we got to, they came out and they took my husband and I all over Sydney. We went there without any tickets for any competitions, and believe me, we got every ticket in the book. Track and field, men's basketball, wrestling, boxing, you name it. It was incredible experience. And I remember Kara coming up to me in the stands and she's saying, Kara, she goes, Coach, I'm sorry I'm not playing it that much. I'm like, she's playing 15 minutes a game. I said, Kara, you're playing behind Lisa Leslie, who is like the best player in the country. I said, and you're on the Olympic team. Come on. And she goes, so we were talking about that and how much fun it was to go to Sydney, because I said to my husband, I said, I'm going to Australia with or without you, because this is never going to happen again in my career, to have a Olympic champion. And as a coach, I'm so proud of that. And I think Kara, if she was here tonight, in this room, to see how proud the town is of her accomplishments, because they're really incredible. So she wished Flo was here. I wish Flo was here. Flo was just a great lady. You always knew she was in the stands. You could hear her from, like if in the state championship, you could hear Flo. And her dad, who was her biggest mentor throughout, her career, also passed away during COVID. And she's, he was her guy as far as teaching her the game. And Kara had an incredible hook shot, which is like nobody teaches it anymore. And that was from her dad, who had an incredible hook shot too. So anyways, cheers to Kara, who's not here tonight. So round of applause.
Thank you, Rita. Now we have two final inductees, teams. This is kind of ad lib because I don't really know who's here from each team. We're going to find out in a minute, though. We'd like to recognize, first of all, the 1965 basketball team, and they will be inducted tonight into the Athletic Hall of Fame. We're asking members of the team to come forward, please, and accept the plaque.
This is Don Kethrow, the co-captain of the 1965 state championship basketball team. My name is Ted Jersick. We just have a few words to say. Do you want to say anything, Don? All right. How's everybody doing tonight? All right. Coach Keogh grew up in a nearby town of Millis, Massachusetts. He is only 9 years older than the seniors on the basketball coach that he coached, on the basketball team that he coached. He was a social science teacher, a basketball junkie, and a gym rat. On Saturdays, he would work out with the custodian unit here at the old Holliston High School on Linden Street to open up the gym so that we could practice on Saturdays. Coach Keogh believed in and taught deny defense, and we learned it from some of the best. Rolly Massimino would come down from Weymouth? Wayland? He was in Wayland? Then went on, of course, to coach Villanova. He taught us a half-court zone press that we used pretty effectively in our quest for the state championship, and a fill-in-the-lanes kind of Celtic fast break mentality. He referred to our team as a bunch of chibabas, and he took those chibabas to the state championship in only his third year as a head coach. In 1996, Thomas Keogh was inducted into the Massachusetts High School Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. Coach Keogh died at the age of 81 in 2019. On behalf of the 1965 team, Don and myself, we thank Coach Keogh for his unrelenting dedication to his craft and wish he could join us today to receive this honor. Thank you.
Okay. Got some bad news, guys. They're kicking us out. See you next year. Oh, I'm kidding. Finally, it is our pleasure to induct this 1971 football team to the Athletic Hall of Fame. Members of the team, please come up. The floor is yours, and congratulations.
Did we miss anybody?
Steve. We need 11 guys.
We can play with Chuck. Who? Who we missing? Some people just have to take a little more time, you know. Well, my name is Gary Alger, and I'm one of the proud tri-captains for this amazing bunch of guys. I'm going to get over here so I can see everybody. I'm sorry, what's your name again? Cecil Wright. This is Peter Comedian. Dan Zimmerly. Michael Fredenzi. Oh yes, he was our class president, the class of 72. We played football in 71. You'll get it. Buddy Frost. Tri-captain Eddie Gillen. And the 1971 most valuable player. Tri-captain Greg Hansa. Bob Horrigan. Steve Gallagher. Gary Peter Kuski. He was just a kid then. I just want to say, you know, And I'm sorry, and your name again? This is Dean Alger. Now, you heard a whole bunch of people use really nice notes all typed up and everything. I just got this. So I don't know. Here goes. On behalf of these gentlemen, thank you for remembering us, for honoring us. We were something special. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But we were something special together. And I'm confident that I speak for all of the honorees tonight at how humbling it is to come back and to see and be a part of the pride, the honor, and gosh, the privilege of performing for you, entertaining you, driving you crazy sometimes, supporting us no matter what. Thank you to the selection committee for, again, remembering us and honoring us. To all of the honorees, you are very special, and I personally, and I think I probably speak for these guys too, we're humbled to be included in this elite body of amazing people. So I'll start with that. Thank you. Now, Bruce Springsteen got it right. Glory days. They'll surely pass you by. In lives well lived, we can all, I'm sure, look to numerous best moments, best years, best times of our lives. For this guy, and again, I'm sorry that I'm going to end up sounding like I'm speaking for you. If I say anything wrong, just slap me in the back of the head. All right, okay. In lives well lived, there are so many greatest moments. Well, for me personally, and maybe for these guys, the fall of 1971 was our first greatest time of our life. A little historical perspective. Richard Nixon was president. The Miami Dolphins were 1 year away from their historic undefeated season. And remember the Titans? T.C. Williams High School, that movie takes place historically in the fall of 1971. So if you saw that movie, you saw a lot of what happened in these locker rooms, on the field, with the coaches and the kids. A lot of that was us. And then there was Panther pride. 4 or 5 years prior, this young kid, 30-year-old kid from Providence, comes to town, already a legend in the making. He knew how to be a winner. He knew how to teach winning. He knew how to bring it about. We didn't even know what we didn't know. Most of us didn't know a lot of life lessons that were going to be facing us, and pretty much all of you, in the years to come. Alcoholism, substance abuse, recovery, racism, bigotry, homophobia. Most of us didn't even know we were going to be learning those lessons, while some precious few of us were living them every day already. the fall of 1971. We didn't know a lot. We were just 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. Do you know that every one of these people here had hair? And none of it was gray. I just want you to, if there's any young people here, I just want you to know that. But one thing we did know, we had a hint, we had an idea of our capability to maybe do something great. In the 2 years before, we'd come close to winning a league championship, and then the next year we actually had a piece of it. Only had 3 losses in those 2 years, and then the newspaper, I'm dry, and I'm gonna do something awful if I don't have a drink here. So, no, I don't mean that. We had an idea that we could do something special with the amazing coaching of this young man, Tom Cato, who knew how to motivate people. He could get so angry at us. A couple of his favorite sayings: "You couldn't beat the sisters of the poor." And I think I remember him saying something about he's got so mad he could bite somebody's ear off or something. He could get so mad at us, but we knew that he loved us. We knew that he was there, and all of our other amazing coaches were there out of love, out of dedication. And call us the orchestra maybe, but you got to have the conductor. Coach Cato was our conductor. He was our musical director, and he made us sing and play, and we were so gifted. We knew, we believed that if we worked hard, we could win. And we won it all. We were undefeated. We were the highest scoring football team in the state of Massachusetts, I believe at all levels, with 400 and something. Ken, how many? And a stingy defense that didn't give up much of anything. Oh, and it was mentioned earlier about us not playing all the games. The first teams only played in all of 3 of those 9 games. The other 6 games, we only played about a half a game because we came out before halftime. We went back after halftime for 1 series, usually scored a touchdown, then came out. The JVs went in, the mostly junior class, and the fourth quarter was basically sophomores. And they finished the game. We dressed 95 players. There were 95 players, sophomore, junior, and senior, and most everybody played most every week. Panther pride. Panther pride. I'd be too embarrassed to tell you how old I was when I realized that Panthers were not actually fire engine red. It's true. It didn't occur to me. But we won. We were champions of the world in our eyes. It was a small world. And it would grow. We've all been in life. So, glory days. How important is it? Well, we didn't lower the national debt. We didn't solve poverty or racism in the world. But I'll bet you a dozen donuts at Dunkin' that every man here lives with a sense of success and pride, knows how to accomplish, feels the love of brotherhood. We got together, you know. You want to just stay around for the weekend or something? The time that we spent together is a time that none of us will forget. And I think this event, the feeling that I come away with more than anything else is gratitude. For you, for our coaches, for the parents. A lot of us, our parents aren't around anymore. So those kids, if your parents are here, love them, love them, love them. I've gone on too long. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave that. Oh. Do we pass it around?
That's up to you.
Are we going to be able to get a picture together?
Yeah, I'd like to, sure.
Somebody
Yeah.
needs to help us with a picture here.
Tall guys in the back.
I'm all the way in front.
Yeah, you're the front. Eddie, get in the front.
Hey, Bobby, how about the fat guys in the front?
We'll do it after.
We'll do it after. We're gonna hold these
Okay.
people up. Thank you, sir.
We'd like to ask everyone to join us in congratulating the first class of Holliston High School Athletic Hall of Fame. So congratulations to everyone who's inducted tonight. I'd like to give a special thanks to Jack Hopper for serving as tonight's MC. As a valued member of this community, we appreciate your contributions to the event and all you do for Holliston. So thank you, Jack. Additionally, just so every honoree knows, there's going to be a plaque at the school where we're going to put them up on the wall with a picture of everyone as well. So it won't be what you received tonight, but there will be one, and we're going to try to send you a picture of it as we get them installed. So, so we haven't exactly decided where it's going to be, and we're working with Mr. Baker on that. Oh, shoot, 50-50 raffle. Alex, come on up. Because when I win, I don't want to be accused of cheating. Here we go. The number is, I'm trying to read the number. My eyes aren't as good as yours. 263-4241. 263-4241. And it wasn't me. I'll catch up with you afterwards, okay? Thank you. And finally, I should have folded the corners too. I'm sorry. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's event, and we look forward to continuing this tradition of honoring those who have contributed to Holliston athletics. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Well, I'm here with Rita Atkinson. She's here to represent Kara Walters tonight. So, Rita, why don't we start with where's Kara?
Kara actually is in New York City. She's in a studio as she's a sports analyst, and she covers the University of Connecticut, who was in the Sweet 16 today. So she's on a contract, so she would have loved to have been here. She was excited about coming if, they lost, but that's why she could not attend.
And who better to have than the coach, you coached Kara all those years. So any special, what comes to mind when you think about Kara being inducted into this Holliston Hall of Fame?
Geez, I mean, just how far she came, how accomplished she is as a, sports analyst, motivational speaker, how she, was a national champion, an Olympic champion, and also played professional basketball. She just stayed focused and she went all the way to the top, and I'm very proud of that.
And you mentioned some things off the court, too, that were special about Kara.
Kara actually is, I've coached hundreds, thousands of players, and she was always so kind and, even though so accomplished, she never got heady. She, would always send you a beautiful card at the end of the season. That was just, I actually sent her one of the cards because I kept it, and she said it brought tears to her eyes because, you don't have a player like that very often. And I went to the Sydney Olympics to watch her play. And I told my husband, I'm going with or without you. So that was a very special moment, too, going to watch her play in the Olympics.
Amazing. Did he go?
He did go.
Good move. Good move. What an exciting achievement, and how proud you must be. Well, thanks for joining us, Rita, and what a great honor for Kara and for you having a part in that, too.
Thank you very much.
We're here with Dorothy Campersall, so thank you for joining us, and you're here to represent Diane Potter.
Correct. Yeah. I graduated in 1960, and we never had a gym or high school or anything like that. We all practiced and played up at the town hall. And then Diane came, and we had a nice new school, nice new gym. She came in. She taught us how to play basketball and softball, and all good. All good. Super, super lady.
Wow, it's hard for me to even imagine playing in the town hall. There wasn't even a high school gym for you folks. And what about some things maybe off the court with Diane that come to mind? She's an incredible athlete, but how about something about her off the court?
Right. She was like 3 or 4 years ahead of me, and so she went off to Springfield College, but she was still at Townie. Grew up in Holliston. Her parents were here, her sisters, family was all good. And then she came back, to teach us and train us and everything. So it was very good.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and being here to represent Diane and on this special night for her and her family. That's great. Thanks for being with us, Dorothy.
All right. Thank you for having me. I've been practicing.
We're with Hall of Fame inductee Mark Sweeney. And Mark, congratulations, and thanks for coming all the way back to the East Coast for this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, coming from San Diego, this is home. My mom and dad are still here in Holliston. Harder to get back at times because of the kids and the sports, but this is thrilling for me and an incredible honor that I didn't want to minimize. It's right before baseball season, so I'm getting ready for the Padres starting next week. But man, this is something that's an honor that's really thrilling for me.
And amazing, now that you're with the Padres and a long major league career, and all started right here in Holliston on the same fields and youth baseball, I assume, here in Holliston too.
Yeah, and my dad was my head coach, so the best part of it is remembering all of that. And never forgetting where you came from. That's the beauty of what Holliston brings. My mom and dad, as I said, are still there in the same house that we grew up in. Driving my 11-year-old son around today to watch and see and be able to see the flag field and knowing where we were playing in Goodwill and then going to Holliston High School, that's special to me because I know how important it was for me moving forward and being able to catapult me to University of Maine and also doing everything you said.
Yeah, amazing. What about off the field? What are some of the memories? I know you have an amazing coach you played for in high school, and aside from your dad. But what about some of the off the field stuff here, growing up and playing baseball and football in Holliston?
Yeah, football and baseball to me were the paramount of what I fell in love with. Gave me an opportunity to go to University of Maine, but Coach Krupnick in baseball, Bob Bradford, Coach Bradford in football. The beauty of it was I had an opportunity to win a championship in baseball, but also in football as well. Memories and that I'll never forget. Teammates I'll never forget. So seeing all the guys here that showed up tonight really is a special place in my heart that makes Holliston very special.
Well, we've got another generation of Sweeneys. Dan Sweeney has popped in here.
Yes, happy to be here, and it's a wonderful occasion that you guys are putting together this Hall of Fame. I think it's an awesome tribute to so many wonderful people in the town that have really accomplished one heck of a lot of things. And couldn't be prouder of my own pal here that has had a very successful career and continues to be that way. So, yeah, it's wonderful to be here. And can't say enough good things about Holliston because we've been here for 56 years, and it's been an enjoyable ride for us as a family because we've had 4 sons that went through this, and far and away athletically, the most successful one has been Mark. So thank you for inviting me.
And Mark was just saying how you were his earliest coach and coached him for many years. We were talking a little youth baseball back in the old Goodwill Park and Flag Field.
Yes, and Goodwill Park happens to remind me of one of the most eventful times where he hit a home run over the right fielder's head, and the ball was hit so far it went into the high grass, and nobody could find it. But it was a fun time. We had a real good string of athletes on the team, and I managed the teams for like 11 years, so watched all the kids go through it, and power to the old Little League White Sox.
Right. No, I love it. You even still remember the team. That's beautiful. I love it. Thanks for joining us, Dan, and of course, Mark, congratulations to you again. I'm here with Gary Alger, member of the 1971 Holliston football team, who is being inducted tonight into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Gary.
It's a true honor. Honor and privilege, the words kind of go together, but to be recognized so many years later when we all look different and we don't remember everything, but the pleasure of seeing old friends, which immediately takes me back to being 17 years old. A couple of us were talking, and immediately a certain practice came up and something that happened in that practice, and it's a walk through memory lane, but to be honored for something that long ago, I'm proud, I'm grateful, and I'm just happy to be here.
And of course, a part of Holliston's football, great football tradition here too. So you mentioned the practice that came up. Any other game memories or on the field memories, special memories, especially from that 71 team that, of course, you had an amazing year that year?
Probably the game that stands out the most was a game against Medway. Both teams were undefeated, and the winner was likely to go undefeated and be the league champion. It was in Medway. The game ended, I believe it was 12-8, so it was a defensive battle. But I remember pulling together, we won games by 48-0, 56-0, 60-12, 62-14, and then we hit Medway, and we knew that it was going to be a different kind of game. For us to have to work hard to make something happen and then come out on top was a great thrill.
Sign of a great team, too. What about off the field? You said seeing some of your teammates tonight. What are some memories about off the field back then in those days?
Well, we laughed a lot. Coach Cato, who's here tonight, happened to be a big Motown fan. So the locker room and the weight room were always filled with Motown tunes, and we all knew all the words, and we would sing as we were dressing, and the other song that I'm sure my teammates will be talking about was Inagata Davida, which I still don't know what it means, but that would play while we were dressing for games, and it was a psych Let's Get Ready to Rumble kind of a tune. And as I talk, I get little chills up and down the spine with that. But yeah.
That's great. A little different feel than Motown music, that's for sure.
Well, yes. But we were 17 in 1971, you know.
Well, congratulations again, Gary, and your whole team, your coach. This is a great night for you guys. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back. We're here with members of the 71 Holliston football team. We have Michael Fredenzi and Cecil Wright. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. Michael, we'll start with you. What does this night mean to you all these years later and celebrating this amazing honor?
It's a wonderful thing. We grew up in Holliston, and we had a nice time in playing football. A lot of memories in football. Great camaraderie the team had. It was a thrill to play for Coach Cato. It taught us a lot of lessons in life: how to work as a team, how to be together, and be faithful to each other.
Great. And Cecil, how about yourself? Anything come to mind in terms of this night being special to you and the honor that is for you and your teammates?
Well, I think the thing for me, and I can only speak for myself, is we didn't play football to win any awards or accolades. We played because we love to play. You know, if we had spare time, that's where you'd find us. So for me, this is a thrill because it's so unexpected. Nobody could have dreamt that A, there would ever be a Hall of Fame, and B, that we'd be the first football team inducted. That's just a tremendous thrill and an honor.
Coach Cato had a lot to do with that too, because when he came to town,
It
wasn't so good, and he brought all the guys together, and we even got accused of being in the wrong league because he had so many people come out, and he dressed every one of them, which was, you practiced, you played.
Some special, you guys obviously had a lot of amazing highlights in your career and accomplishments and big wins. What are some special moments on the field or on the practice field even that come to mind? Cecil, why don't we start with you?
Well, you know, obviously that Medway game was a real special. We won 12-8. We were the highest scoring team in the state, the best offense, and they had the best defense in the state. Nobody scored very much on them, and we didn't score that much, but we were able to pull it out, and there was about somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 people at the game, so it was just a great honor to play in front of a crowd like that. And to come out on top against a team that was probably bigger, faster, and stronger than we were was probably the highlight of our high school career.
I did not know that about the attendance. That's amazing. And what about you, Michael? You know, some on the field thoughts.
That game, I remember I got a penalty, and it was towards the end of the game. And we won right at the end of the game. So I was a little embarrassed by that, but I remember standing up and hitting someone too high. And I said, oh my God, what's going to happen here?
Usually he went down at the ankles, and all the big guys hated him for that. We were just talking about that a few minutes ago. But I would also say that we were a team off the field too. Like, you knew where you would find us on Friday and Saturday nights. It was a place called the Bat Caves, which isn't there anymore. But that's where we went. That's where we did our thing. Nobody got in any trouble. We policed it ourselves. Some of our opposing teams would come in some Saturday nights. I mean, you know, but to us, that was our role, you know, as well as a football team, also in the community. We're trying to help bring guys from Millis in so there was no trouble, guys from Medway and that kind of thing. And I'd like to think that we were one of the first teams that started to do that.
The Cassidys and the Monahans were the names Millis and Medway, and they were inspiring to play against. But again, we hung out with them afterwards. Yeah. And who was Dover Sherman? Who was the guy?
Harry Rose, Casey Pott.
Rose, yeah. So it was a close-knit group. The towns were small then. And you knew everyone around, and it was a lot of fun.
And the other thing I will say is, the whole town of Holliston came out and supported us. They were at every game, and they were screaming their heads off. And even our teachers would come to the games, and they'd be talking to us on Monday about how you did, and this play and that play. I mean, I look back on it, and we couldn't have had a better experience.
It was a wonderful town to grow up in. It really was. We had a lot of fun.
Well, that sums it up, I guess, right there. And winning always helps too, right? So congratulations, both of you, and thanks for joining us tonight on this awesome night for you and your team. Well, we're here with some basketball players from the 1965 Holliston team that's being inducted tonight. We're here with Don Kethrow and Ted Jursic. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. And we'll start with you. Tell us about what this honor means to you tonight on this special evening.
Well, it's really nice to recall 50 years ago plus. I do remember a lot of the folks that participated. It made it a wonderful occasion. There aren't many of our teammates, unfortunately, here. It is a time to also that we got to remember our coach, Tom Keogh, who's since passed away. But the most memorable thing about it all was that it was a wonderful community experience at the time. The town of Holliston really got behind that team and seemed to really enjoy it every bit as much or maybe even more than we did.
A lot of people have said that in our interviews tonight, that special connection to the town. Ted, what comes to mind for you about that special year and team you had?
Well, it's the pulling together of a lot of years. Our coach was very unique. He was only about 9 years older than the oldest person on the basketball team. To be coached by somebody that was almost your peer was unique. And he just taught us a lot. He had great contacts throughout the. He eventually became a Hall of Fame, Massachusetts Basketball Hall of Fame coach, and it was just a unique experience. That it takes a lot of luck too. We had that. To go all the way, it takes a lot of luck.
I know it was a long time ago, but there must be some big games that come to mind. I mean, what comes up if you think of a top memory of excitement for you in your club?
Well, there's no question that the thrill was playing in Boston Garden for a couple of weeks. It was terrific. Still remember that and talk about it. Yeah.
Definitely a memory, right in the middle of that Celtic dynasty. And do you have any memories there of playing in the Garden?
Oh yeah, even playing in the Garden, where one of the things that Coach Keogh taught us was the Celtic fast break. Filling the lanes, and to be there in that hallowed ground was very special for high school kids.
What about off the court? You guys obviously spent a lot of time with each other. Any special memories pop up about something cool, funny, special?
No, well, Ted and I have been friends all our lives and still remain close friends, see each other all the time. So there were probably a lot of things that happened off the court that I don't think your cable television really wants to know about.
We do, but I understand. Thank you. It's a family audience. How about for you, Ted? Anything that you can share with our audience?
I guess for us, when we were in high school, one of the things that we did that, is not advised to do anymore is hitchhike. And John and I hitchhiked from Canada to Mexico one summer and met so many interesting people that were so incredibly good to us. If we hadn't found a ride that was willing to put us up for the night or give us a meal or something like that, we'd get out of their car and hitchhike again, and eventually we'd find another person that would, give us something along the way. And, and we'd give back in the form of telling them stories about why we were doing it, and they would look at us like, wow, you guys have hitchhiked from Massachusetts, you've been on the road for months. And if we didn't find a place, then we'd always go to the nearest police station and usually sleep there until the morning and get up in the morning and hitchhike on. It was a great experience.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, don't think we could do that these days. It's a little different. Well, congratulations to you both and your whole team, and thanks for being here tonight. It's a special night. We're here with another football player. This is Hall of Fame inductee Henry Bullard. Henry, congratulations. What a special night and a special honor for you. Tell us what this means to you and your connection to Holliston and your football career.
I feel really honored to be, brought into the Hall of Fame, and I think I'm proud of what our teams did back in the days, the early starters. We started the whole program up right from scratch, and very successful.
And still is today. Amazing, all those years ago.
It's gone on forever, and it's been great, yeah.
Any special memories that come to mind from the games, the practices, coaching staff?
Angie Insalaka was our coach. He was a wonderful guy, and he treated us all well, never yelled at us. He had a quiet presence, so you knew when he was mad at you or something. But we started out first year only with 2 scrimmages and 2 games. We didn't even know how to put pads in our pants. We haven't had any football in 32 years, so, and no youth football, no Pop Warner or any of that. So it was interesting. It was very interesting after that.
How many guys on the team in that first year or two?
Just probably 30 to 40 kids. Yeah, not bad.
What about off the field? What are some special moments for you?
I don't know. So much graduating and something getting on with my life, and I had two wonderful kids and wife that I'm proud of. So, those are most of my off tour memories.
When you think back to your days here in Holliston and the football team, any memories of your teammates or friends that you had growing up here in town?
It was small town, and it was I call it happy days, where you went to the local drugstore and everybody was there after school, and it was a good time. It was easy living. Doors were never locked. You could drink out of the hose, and it was just a wonderful place to live.
Great. Well, congratulations and thanks for being here tonight, Henry. What an honor.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're here with members of the Hall of Fame committee. This is Alex Strum, Jamie Murphy, and Don Quinley. Thanks so much for being here tonight. And what a special night for you folks being a part of this organization. Talk to us about that, Alex.
Yeah, well, this started about, I guess, almost a year ago after Don went to his old high school's Athletic Hall of Fame and came back, and we just started talking and saying, how come Holliston doesn't have that? We've got this wonderful athletic tradition that goes back so many decades, and it just seemed like kind of a crime that we didn't have one, so we kind of took it upon ourselves to try to make that happen and got Jamie involved. We knew that what an asset she would be, and then recruited members from the community who had deep roots and knew a lot of people and went back, and we're off and running.
Wow, so a lot went on behind the scenes. I mean, about how long has this been in the works?
Well, we started talking maybe last spring. We went in front of the school committee in August, and that's when it kind of became like, all right, this is happening, like it or not, so we got to make it happen. And most of our meetings, we started meeting in probably September, October, once we got the rest of the committee together, and we were meeting at first every month, and by the end it was every week leading up to the event tonight.
And off the top of my head, how many inductees tonight? I know there's teams and individuals. What is it, about a dozen or so tonight?
So we're going to be inducting tonight, part of the inaugural class, 2 coaches, 2 teams, and 6 individual athletes.
Okay. And I'm just, I don't know if they were able to share this publicly, but what was the original pool of candidates that you had to narrow down? I'm curious about that process.
So I think we ended up with roughly 60 nominations, and it was, first class, it was really hard to parse through and figure out who's, because there's so many deserving candidates, so who gets these spots. But the good news is that we already have a lot of wonderful nominations that will carry over into the coming years. And, I feel confident right now about future classes simply based off what we have, and I'm sure we'll get more going forward.
And a wonderful turnout here tonight. The place is filled here in Milford, so that must be what a nice honor for you folks and all the work you put in, too.
Yeah, we're really happy with the turnout, to be sure, and I think we all hope that it's just a really special, wonderful night for all the people that are being honored, and here's their guests.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on everything. I'm with another Hall of Famer. This is Deb Gunther, Hall of Fame softball and field hockey coach, and Deb, congratulations on this wonderful honor for you. What does this mean tonight to you and your family and your connection to Holliston?
Well, when I first heard the news, it was overwhelming and blessed at the same time, because there's nothing I would have changed. It's just an incredible feeling,
And you were here for so many years in Holliston coaching, and what are some of the special memories or players or assistant coaches you've had over the years maybe that pop into mind on this special night?
Well, I think we'd be here a while. I try to, have connections with anybody that supported our program and made it what it is, but there have been so many memories, and some of my best memories are at practice, believe it or not, because that's when we prepare and test our will so that game day it's easy. But the players probably are the things that stand out the most, because honestly, if it wasn't the players, I wouldn't be standing here right now with this honor. It's all because of them.
And over the course of time that you were in Holliston, I mean, a lot of changes must have happened between the facilities you had, the equipment, the types of kids that you had, the generational differences. So quite a lot to go with. What kept you going all those years with all those kids? Just any memories or thoughts on that?
What kept me going was my passion for the sports as well as the kids' passion. There's an expression that, tradition never graduates. So we started something good, and I think I was just up for the challenge to reload every 2-3 years and, fill the well again with 4 or 5 more new players added to the program, and just to keep it going in the pride they would have in getting prepared for the season. You mentioned how, certainly times change, facilities. Once you dive for balls in dirt, didn't matter if we were playing on turf or dirt, we were going to dive. Field hockey, never played on a turf till we got to a tournament game. Kind of like that. My understanding is football eventually is going to be going back to maybe having regular fields, less injuries. So I was glad to be a part of the Mutters and, part of that tradition back then. I've got some very, very wonderful memories. Sometimes getting the field ready myself on rain days or whatever, and getting cat litter on the pitcher's mound, just to play the game we loved. They were determined, we want to play that day, whereas most kids, it's raining, we're not going to. Guys, we can't be out there with the aluminum bats. Okay, we'll get the field, we want to play. Put the bats away first. It's simple, but I also recollect the community support at Holliston. It was tremendous. Games, tournament, team dinners, parents coming up, Coach, you need anything, from ice to, providing meals. It was an experience that I smile when I think of them. There's so many memories, as you said. I've been there a while. Yes, I'm old, but that kept me young. And knowing how much they wanted it. As far as kids changing, when you come together for a common cause, you don't have to worry about the focus on other things. Sometimes you have to establish it more because, there's a lot of different things going on, like phones. I never had to say put the phone away when I coached. Except at the very end, but every now and then they check them. But they always knew when to check them, and it was the end of practice, and that was that. But no, we were on track, and I'm thankful we didn't have the distractions of the phone, to be honest with you. I just know that when kids want to play a sport, they show up. It doesn't matter what's going on in life. And when they're on that field, they stay focused for those 2 hours. That's all I ask, because I tell them I have to stay focused. We're a team, and if you want something, this is how we get there. So we establish goals. I mean, some of my greatest memories, I remember in field hockey, they'd have to write down an individual and team goal and stick it to their field hockey stick. So when they're out there in double sessions, they'll look at their goal and say, that's why I'm here sweating. Same thing in softball. They could write it in their glove, wherever, but they always had to keep in mind, when they're having a tough day, take a look at those. And that's how we rolled back then.
I love it. I could tell just by meeting you that you could coach in any generation. It doesn't matter. And you're right, it's still the game. You know, no matter what year, 1965, 1985, 2025, it's still softball, it's still field hockey, and if you want to be there and play, it's still the sport. And I can tell you're a true coach because you said some of your best memories were in practice and not the games.
The games, I think the memories I had was the look on their faces, either coming off the field for a break, in between innings, and watching the joy. Sometimes the part, well, darn, I just struck out again. But to watch them go back and persevere the next time at bat, to be able to put those things aside, the life lessons, those are the things that I always thought it was about in establishing friendships. Because life is all about meeting different people and taking experience from them and enjoying them and smiling. You know, it's about having lived and lived well, you know, when it's all said and done, you know.
I do. Well, congratulations again tonight, Deb, on this awesome honor, and to you, your family, and to the town of Holliston. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. See you at the gym.
We're with Holliston Hall of Famer Gary Peter Kuski. And Gary, wow, reading over your accomplishments athletically, amazing career in Holliston High School and beyond. And I'm sure you have other accomplishments as well, but we're here about talking about the Holliston High School Hall of Fame tonight and the athletics and your career. So what does this night mean to you, Gary, coming back here and being with friends, family, teammates?
Well, thank you for the congratulations. It's obviously a humbling experience and an honor. As you know, life is a journey, not a destination. Not in my wildest dreams that I would think leaving here and going on to Penn State and having some success there. Because you never know when talent-wise you may not be good enough for that next level. I reached that with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when I signed as a free agent and ended up getting cut. But I had satisfaction with the career, and obviously had a lot of support from my father, who was coaching at Boston College when I was going to Holliston. Both my brothers were playing football at Boston College, so I'm the youngest of three brothers, so you benefit from a lot of those things that are happening in the household, if you will.
Amazing to think from Holliston to the NFL. I mean, what an incredible journey. I'm curious, just coaching my own kids here in youth sports, and they played football as well. Just memories of your youth career. Leading up to high school here in Holliston.
Well, I was from Pennsylvania, so my dad was a very successful high school coach in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, it was basketball, baseball, football, not hockey. We moved to Dartmouth College, and then he took a job at Boston College, which brought us here. And it's just a matter of ultimately the question was what?
Just, your youth sports and your early days of getting involved with this and then leading up to high school.
Well, again, being the youngest of three brothers, my father being a football coach, always being around the athletes at a very young age, always learning from my brothers. They were great to me in the sense I was, the kid pulling on their coattail, if you will. It was my older brother that says, yeah, I'll take him on the team, whatever it may be. And then I think it's just a matter of from there having the right things, the right coaches, the right situations, because there's a lot of good players in a lot of sports that things just don't necessarily work out for them. But they're very talented players.
What about
staying healthy? Excuse me. You got to stay healthy at any level.
Any special memories of your high school teams here in Holliston, maybe even off the field? I know you guys achieved a lot, and you personally, your teammates, the practices, the coaching staff.
Well, Coach Cato was my head coach. I know Todd Kiley is here now. And I think that Coach Cato came into a program and and created the foundation, a very disciplined program. He was very knowledgeable about his craft. He had a good coaching staff surrounding him. We had some pretty good athletes, and I think that's a recipe for success in itself. I'm not sure that we were as good as some of the other classes in my particular senior year. We lost 2 games, but we did take on Milford, who was a Class B school, for the first time. Us being Class B, D, we got beat 7-6. So, but Coach Cato wanted to challenge us at the next level, which I thought was good. And those were pre-Super Bowl years.
Well, congratulations again, Gary, and this special night for you and your family, and welcome back to Holliston, and again, congratulations on this special night. Hall of Famer Bud Frost is with us. He is a member of the 71 Holliston High School football team, the quarterback, so played an important role on that team, Bud. And, well, let's jump right into it. Congratulations, of course, on the special night tonight. And just tell us about, what this night means to you and your family.
Well, it means a lot. It's been 51 years since we did it. We had, starting out as freshmen, we didn't have Pop Warner back then. We didn't know how to put on our pads or anything like that. So putting shoulder pads over our shirts, it was just hectic. Then, we had 2 years. Sophomore year and junior year, we were about 500. And then when we were seniors, and we finally got Gary Elger back because he was playing with the varsity for those 2 years. And I think the coaches knew then that we were pretty special. And our first 5 games, the first team, we didn't play the whole game because Coach Cato had a lot of respect for the other teams. And, you might see our scores, we didn't run them up. The second team went in, sometimes the third team went in, and there's only 3 games that we played the whole game, and that was Dover, Sherburne, Medway, and Millis, and that was it. When we played Thanksgiving, we had the big ice storm. We had to play at Bowditch Field on Monday, and we were taken out in the second period because it was just so far gone.
Wow,
it was a great experience, great friendship that I haven't seen these guys in 50 years, and it's just a good time. I just wondering why it took so long.
Any special times or memories off the field? Obviously, you guys spent a lot of time together. Anything come to mind with that special team?
Back then we didn't have a lot like the kids and the players do today. It was just, after you go home, you study, then you wake up and you go to school, and you didn't have the outlets and all that stuff to go to. You had the mall in Framingham, but we couldn't go over there. But it just wasn't. We'd get together a couple of times, and and my father, he used to film the games because he had like a little 8mm project camera. And we'd go and watch them and just have fun and good time and all that stuff, But that was it.
Good old days without distractions, AAU teams and phones and all that. You just got to hang out, and it was simple.
Yeah, and there was no Pop Warner, nothing. It was basically football, then basketball, then baseball. Sometimes you had track, and that was it. You didn't have the girls had the field hockey and the girls basketball. And congratulations to Coach Gunther for going in. She did a hell of a job with the softball team and made prominence with it.
It's an amazing night. I'm learning so much about the history of Holliston sports. Thanks for joining us, bud. Congratulations on your honor.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for having this night.
Thank you.